The North Pole. A helicopter lands. Coming out of it is Dr. Whale in appropriate winter gear. He then looks down at a quarry and makes a phone call. He then says, "Mr. Griffin, we've found it." Going down into the quarry, we see in the ice what looks like a frozen human-like creature. Then Dr. Whale goes all the way down to the site, where he is greeted by Agent Wagner. Agent Wagner then says, "Dr. Whale, thought you would be here soon enough." "Yes, Agent Wagner," said Dr. Whale. "So, what actually happened?" "Well," said Agent Wagner, "there was an expedition, and they found this, thinking it was a caveman, but, well, if I know my history right," said Agent Wagner, "I don't know if our caveman ancestors ever made it this far, and this, well, seems to be around, well, my guess, a while ago." Dr. Whale then says, "Yes, I think it might not be as old as a caveman. Can your crew dig it out of the ice and take it back to my lab in London?" "Yes, we can, Dr. Whale." "Good. After we break it out of the ice and I take samples, I could tell how old it is." "Okay then, Dr. Whale." Agent Wagner then gets his team to start digging into the ice to get whatever's in there out. Then another crew member says, "Mr. Wagner, we found another body." "Another body?" "Well, Dr. Whale, looks like you got two frozen ones to deal with." "Yes, I do." "This should be a very interesting story indeed." The North Sea, 1794. Captain Walden and his crew are all stuck within the ice, out on an expedition to the North Pole. One of his crewmen says to him, "Captain, all us men are exhausted. There is nothing up here but snow and ice. Can't we just leave?" "No," said Captain Walton. I have invested my entire fortune to this expedition. We are not just leaving. History will remember us. People will talk about us for centuries to come, that we were the first ever men here in the North Pole." Then noises are heard from outside the ship. The captain then goes out of his cabin and shouts to his crew, "What the hell's going on? Someone or something's coming," one of his crewmen said. They then see a figure running towards them. It's a man. Then the snow dogs escape in fear, knowing something isn't right. The captain demands to one of his men to get the dogs back. The man tells them, no, they're just as good as dead. Then the dogs attack this creature, whatever it is. The creature kills all the dogs and then lets out a huge roar. The captain then says, "What the hell is going on? Quick, we must get inside." The man and the captain then head into his cabin. Captain Walton then says, "What the hell is out there, and who are you?" The man then tells him, "I came here from Russia on foot. I also travelled from Geneva, and I've had such a long journey. I've been following its trail." "What trail?" said Captain Walton. "What are you doing up here, this part of the earth?" asked the man. "We're on an expedition to make history. We want to be known as men that made it to the North Pole." "Oh, you want to be remembered in history? For good or bad?" "Who are you?" the captain asked. "My name is Victor Frankenstein, and I have done terrible things." "What kind of terrible things?" asks Captain Walton. "Things beyond your imagination," said Victor. Geneva, Switzerland, 1773. Victor is playing in the garden, running around full of energy, until his heavily pregnant mother says, "Victor, come inside. We have a surprise for you." Victor then rushes inside, where he is greeted by his father. His father then says, "Victor, this is Elizabeth. She's coming to live with us. She's an orphan now. Her mother and father died of the scarlet fever, and when I saw her, I couldn't bear to leave her. I want you to be nice to her. Make her feel welcome." "Okay then, father," said young Frankenstein. He then said to her, "My name's Victor Frankenstein. My name's Elizabeth. Hello." Then, a few months later, Victor's mother was giving birth, bleeding and struggling. Eventually the child was born on a stormy, thundering night. Victor looks outside the window as lightning strikes a tree outside his house. Then, after Victor's mother gives birth, she then says to the father, "Name our son." Victor's father says, "I want you to name him. I named Victor, remember?" "Okay then. His name is William. He's called William Frankenstein." Then she loses consciousness. He then asks the physician, "Is she all right?" The doctor then says, "I'm sorry, but I'm afraid the childbirth was too much for her. She's gone." Then, coming down the stairs, Victor's father presents William Frankenstein to Victor and Elizabeth. Victor then says, "Where's mother? Is she all right?" Victor, "Your mother, yes? There was trouble with the birth," said Victor's father. "She didn't make it. No, she's got to be fine. She has to." Victor then rushes upstairs. His father says, "Victor, don't!" Victor goes into the bedroom and tries to wake her up, saying, "Wake up, mother. Please wake up. Oh, Lord, please bring her back. Bring her back." Victor then tells his mother as she lays lifeless, "I won't let this happen again. I promise, Mum. I promise that I will find a cure for death. and I will save everyone. I promise. Many years later, Victor, now grown up, studying in his room. Elizabeth then says, "Victor, why are you putting your experiments before everything else? It's a lovely day. Let's go outside." "I'd love to, Elizabeth, but I'm busy working here. Look, this whole little mechanism that I put together, if it can run on electricity, we could have unlimited power, and we could do something with that. We could make history." "Victor, I don't know what you're talking about. Come on, I've heard that it might rain later." "Rain? Do you think thunder could happen?" "Well, maybe, yes. Me and William are going for a walk in the fields." "Okay then," said Victor. They then go outside for a walk in the meadow, Victor carrying a bag of all his equipment. William then saying, "Well, we finally managed to get you out for once on this lovely afternoon." "Yes, William. Anyway, have you found yourself a woman yet?" "Oh, Victor, I'm young. I'm 16 years old. I have plenty of time to find a good wife. I wasn't partnered up like you and Elizabeth was." Then they are greeted by Justine, who is a maid. William then says, "Oh, Justine, so glad you could come." Then, as they sit having afternoon tea on a picnic mat, William then asks, "Victor, what have you got in your bag?" "Ah, well, if Elizabeth's prediction is right, a thundercloud is coming. And it seems to be right over there. Look at it flashing." They look at the thundercloud and say, "Yes, we best get under a tree." "No, William," said Victor. "That's just an even bigger conductor. Come, let us set up the equipment now." "What do you mean?" "I have been preparing for this for a long time. My theory of electricity, I believe it could power the world one day." They then all lay out mats and the lightning conductor. Victor then says, "Okay, everyone down and stay down. If we're lucky, the lightning will strike." Then, as the cloud gets closer and the lightning flashes, the conductor rod gets struck, powering it as a windmill. Then, as they all look, they see sparks of lightning all around them, saying, "What is this, Victor?" asked Elizabeth. "It's lightning conduction. You see, I believe that lightning can also give life and revive you. I mean, it could jumpstart our heart rates." William then says, well, that's very impressive, brother, but still, I'm lost on all your science work." "Well, William, one day you'll be a fine physician yourself." "No, I'm more into poetry." "Of course you say that now, but you'll change your mind when you're older. No one really knows what they want to do at the age of 16. Hey, I know that I want to find a good maid, a bride even." As he looks at Justine, Justine then says, "William, I am your maid." "Come on," said Victor, "let's get back inside before the storm worsens." As Victor returns home, he is surprised by everyone in the house, all throwing a farewell party for him. Victor then says, "What's this?" "Well, Victor, my boy, you didn't think that we would let you go to university without saying goodbye now, did you?" "Oh, Father, you didn't really need to do this." "Of course I did. Now go upstairs and prepare yourself. All of you." "Yes, Father." As the evening goes on, everybody dances and has fun and enjoys themselves. Then Victor's father has everyone's attention as he wishes to make a speech. He then says, "I have never been prouder of my sons, and tomorrow Victor begins his work at the university and plans to, well, as I've heard, make scientific breakthroughs. And I have this for him. One thing that is missing from this whole occasion is my beloved late wife, who died many years ago, giving birth to our youngest son, William. And I'm sure she's proud to see the men that they have both become. I also have this gift from her, and written in it, in her words, 'This is the journal of Victor Frankenstein.' And the rest is blank. She wants you to have this, Victor. Thank you, Father." "Anyway," said Frankenstein's father, "let the festivities and celebrations continue." Then, outside, Elizabeth looks up at the sky. Victor joins her, saying, "It's beautiful, isn't it?" "Yes, it is." "So, what is it you plan to do whilst you're away?" "Oh, well, I plan to write to you every day and work as well, and I think I want to marry you when I return." "What do you mean, Victor?" "Elizabeth, you have gone from the sister I've never had to a wonderful friend and a wonderful woman. And I know you feel the same way." "Oh, Victor." "Elizabeth, will you marry me?" Elizabeth then says, "Yes, yes, I will, Victor. Wonderful." Victor then kisses her and says, "Come, let's announce our engagement." "Wait, this is your evening, though." "No, Elizabeth, it is our evening." Victor then goes back inside to announce his engagement and celebrate some more. The next day, Victor packs his bags and his carriage and begins his journey. Victor saying to Elizabeth, "Don't worry, I'll be back soon. I'm just all the way in another town, a city." "I know. Take care of everyone for me, William." "Oh, I will, brother, I will." Victor then heads all the way to the university, where he plans to make big changes and scientific breakthroughs. Victor arrives in Ingolstadt, Germany, where he is shown his flat. He then says, "This will do nicely. I have plenty of room to work." As he goes into a spare empty room, he says, "This is where I shall set my lab. Now, some men are coming later for my equipment to be placed here. Is that all right?" "Ja," said the German woman. "It is fine." "Good. Well, I best get some sleep. I've had a long journey." "Of course." The next day, Victor is walking through the town. He sees a hunched-over man raiding around some unwanted vegetables. Victor then says, "Are you okay?" "Oh, yes, fine," said the hunched-over man. "You look like you're hungry." "Oh, believe me, I am very hungry, but don't let my problems worry you." "What's your name?" "My name? No one has asked me that for a long time. My name is Igor." "Igor? What an unusual name." "Where are you from?" "Oh, here, there, and everywhere. I was in a circus until I was
kicked out for clumsiness. I have nowhere to go and I will soon die or something. Oh, no, no, please. I'm about to get breakfast in a in a pub, an inn. Do join me. You want me to join you? Of course. I have lived in wealth and, well, I like to help when I can. Oh, bless you, good sir. As Victor has breakfast, he looks at Igor as he wolfs down his food, saying, "Did you enjoy that?" "Yes, thank you. I will repay you for this act of kindness." "Well, how are you at assisting?" "Assisting?" "Yes, I could use a spare pair of hands. After all, my work can get quite, well, a lot to handle, and I could use the assistance." "I don't have any scientific experience, sir." "You don't need to. All you need to do is help me out." "Okay. It is the least I can do for your charitable deed." "Good. Well, I'm about to attend my first day at university. I shall take you to my flat. You can stay there and make yourself at home." "Oh, thank you so much, Mr.
It's Frankenstein. Victor Frankenstein."
Thank you so very much."
"Of course." Victor then attends a lecture where a professor is giving a speech on science and God and medicine, saying that people over time will have a longer life expectancy due to the increasement in medicine. Victor then calls out saying, "Professor, what if we were able to bring back the dead?" "My dear boy," said the professor, "man can do many things, but we're not God. Once you're dead, you stay dead. But what about creating new life? A new species even? Only God can do that. What is your name?" Victor then says, "Frankenstein. Victor Frankenstein." "Well, I would ask you to keep your opinions to yourself." "But how are we to know these if we don't ask these questions? What if it's God's will that he gives us this knowledge to use and, we could do all kinds of incredible things, perform miracles." "That's enough. May I resume my lecture now?" "Yes, of course, sir. I'm sorry." Watching from a distance is Professor Waldman. He then meets Victor as the class ends, saying, "You really believe that man could find a way to conquer death?" "I'm sorry, who are you?" "Professor Waldman. I have been working on electricity and power source for some time. Would you care to come by to mine later, and I can show you my work?" "Of course. May I bring my assistant with me?" "You have an assistant?" said Professor Waldman. "Yes, Igor. Igor." Later, as they go to Professor Waldman's house, he then says, "What I'm about to show you must stay secret. No one else can know of this." "Of course," said Victor. Victor then looks and sees as Waldman shows him a chimpanzee's arm. "Now, many years ago I worked on a project where the power of electricity could bring back nerves. Behold." He then conducts some electricity power and the chimp arm moves. Igor then says, "That is incredible. And this is all from your studies." "Yes, it is." "That's incredible," said Victor.
We could bring back the dead, even. Have you done any more work like this? I have. But with this knowing, you could reuse organs and body parts that people don't require anymore. When someone is dead, we could use a severed limb to attach to someone, or a heart, or something. We could make transference from another body to another. I came close to that once. I never want to try that again. Why not? Because it is immoral. And what you are saying, Victor, is not just immoral, but it is illegal. So let's leave it there. But wait, can I look at your work? Please, sir. I only want to study it. You are the first young student in a long time to be fascinated with the works that I have done. I will let you look, but you must not do any of them. Do you understand? Of course not. Victor then studies Waldman's work, fascinated by it, obsessed. Meanwhile, in Geneva, Elizabeth receives telegrams. Reading them, as Victor tells her that he misses their mornings, their evenings, their meals, their time together, promising that he will one day return during a weekend, and also tells her of his work and progress. Frankenstein is obsessed and hell-bent on the work that Waldman has produced. A few days in a town, people are being vaccinated for smallpox. One man, who is superstitious, refuses to take the vaccine. Waldman tells him, "This will make you immune and it will stop an epidemic from happening. Now take this vaccine." "No, I think the Lord is my doctor. He'll heal me." "No, you must take the vaccine. It is the law." "Get away from me." "Now calm down. You're not sticking a needle in me," said the man. He then strikes Waldman with a knife, stabbing him. Waldman then collapses. As Frankenstein runs to his aid, he is too late. As for the man, he is arrested and hung later on in the day. Victor then goes to his living quarters and looks around more at his research. In a flashback, he remembers him saying to him, "Victor, destroy my work. No one must know of it." Igor then says, "So what are we going to do now, Victor?" "We're going to study all this work and do what he almost succeeded in. But he said it is immoral, illegal." "I know that, Igor. But someone has to try. Someone has to ask the questions. And I believe that man is capable. The Titan Prometheus believed man and God should live equally. But didn't he get punished by Zeus? He did. But I believe that science and miracles are one and the same. Miracles and magic is just science that we don't understand yet, but we can understand it if we try. Come on, Igor. Let us take all this back to my laboratory." "Okay." Victor then looks in the village centre as he sees the man who stabbed Waldman hanging. He then says to Igor, "Igor, come, let's take this body." "What do you mean? No one will miss it." "We will take the body and examine it. Look at parts that are fresh and could still be used." "If you insist." The next day in the mortuary, Frankenstein looks at Waldman's body. He then cuts into the head, removing the brain, and says, "I'm sure you won't mind if I use your brain. You don't require it anymore." Frankenstein then goes around studying Waldman's work. As he does, he collects materials, equipment that he needs for this experiment. Meanwhile, in Geneva, Elizabeth begins to worry, as Frankenstein has not wrote to her. Justine assures her that he is fine. She then says, "What if he's found another woman?" "He won't, Elizabeth. He's faithful to you. And if you really do love him, you will go to Germany and get him." "Would you?" "Yes, I would." "Then I will go and get my Victor." "Yes, go." Meanwhile, in Victor's lab, he then draws up a picture and shows Igor, saying, "This is it. We just need a few more bodies and a few more parts." "What are you talking about?" "We are going to put Waldman's work to the test. And for that we're going to need body parts." "So what are you suggesting, Victor?" "Isn't there a graveyard where unwanted criminals are buried? Murderers, thieves?" "I believe so." "Then let us head there. We will find some good materials, of course, for the most recently deceased."